Indonesia is the biggest archipelago country in the world, consisting of 17,000 big and small islands. As an archipelago country, Indonesia has the potential of marine and coastal areas of approximately 26 million hectares. There's no doubt for the beauty of Indonesia. With the beauty and abundant natural resources, Indonesia holds a special attraction, not only for Indonesians, but also for international people. One of the regions that have several natural resources with many advantages is the coastal area. Indonesia has 99,000 kilometers of coastline. You can imagine just how big the potential for natural resources is. Indonesia is known as the largest seaweed producer in the world, and seaweed has become a superior commodity in marine industrialization. Seaweed has an enormous economic value and is an environmentally friendly commodity, so it will increase the value, competitiveness, and will contribute greatly to the standard of living in coastal communities. With simple technology, it can be adopted to make a profit, making seaweed one of the best choices for cultivation in coastal communities. Our duty is to take care and maintain it to keep it sustainable. Seaweed is a multicellular algae plant grouped in the Thallophyta division. Seaweed grows in the coral reefs and ponds as well. There are more than 500 species of seaweed in Indonesia. One of them is Gracilaria, or more commonly called red algae. Gracilaria is a raw material for food products. We can easily find it in our daily life, in items such as agar-agar, ice cream, drinks, crackers, and many more. Everybody knows about the products, but most people are not familiar with the raw material for those products. Gracilaria. This seaweed species consists of carbohydrates, proteins, some fats, and ashes, which are a salt compound, and calories. It also contains vitamins A, B1, B6, B12, and C, which can be very useful for daily food diets. The process of the cultivation of seaweed has an impact on what will be used as the raw material for food products. And this is the cultivation.
Minum neng. Dah. Duduk biasa. Nanti habis makan langsung berangkat. Pemilihan bibitnya pun juga yang bagus.
Mr. Junaidi is a seaweed cultivator at MUARAGEMBONG, BEKASI. He has a lot of experience in seaweed cultivation.
Hasil dari rumput laut.
Ini bajunya, Mbak.
Ya.
Hati-hati di jalan.
He is also the leader of a group of cultivators known as Maju Bersama at MUARAGEMBONG. MUARAGEMBONG is a coastal village that has many suitable characteristics for Gracilaria seaweed growth. It is easy to cultivate Gracilaria. In the fertile waters, seaweed doesn't need medical plants or fertilizer. Only in certain conditions or unfertilized water, like pond water, can the cultivator spread TSP fertilizer. Seaweed needs only 45 days for cultivating before they're ready to be harvested. But the cultivation still has several steps to get the best quality before being harvested.
Ini lokasi yang akan kita tanam setelah kemarin kita bersihkan.
The first step is choosing the location for the seaweed cultivation. Mr. Junaidi and his crew need to check the location on the first day of cultivation where the seaweed will be grown. The cultivator has to consider the risk, the reward, and the ecology for the seaweed. It's not too difficult to find a good location, as long as the location is clean and free from pests and pollutants. The salinity levels needed in the pond water should be between 15 to 30 parts per thousand. Now, this is the time that they're ready to cultivate the seaweed. But first, they're choosing the best seeds. They must be young, fresh, and clean. Seed plants that have been chosen will be picked up and they will take cuttings of the best seaweed.
Hari ini kita mengadakan pensurtilan.
A good seed plant will be 2 to 3 centimeters in length, have many branches, and will have a brownish-green color. It will be 15 days old and showing rapid growth.
Ini warnanya agak kecoklatan dan juga ada yang hitam dan mempunyai talus yang banyak serta dia punya tingginya hanya beberapa.
After choosing the good seed plant, they're ready to cultivate the seaweed. One of the methods used by cultivators for Gracilaria is the spread-off method. It is done by spreading off the seed plant in the pond. 2 tons of seed plant are needed for 1 hectare of area. This method has to be done in water that is more than 30 centimeters deep. Later, step by step, the depth of the water will be increased until at a suitable level for seaweed growth. The maximum depth is 80 centimeters.
Hari ini kita mau kontrol bibit rumput
On
laut
the
yang
5th
kita
day,
lepas
Mr.
tempo hari.
Junaidi and his crew will check the
Kita
condition
mau
of the
lihat
seaweed.
perkembangannya selama
The condition of the pond is
beberapa hari
exactly
kita
the
tanam.
same as on the first day and looks healthy and
Mari
rich.
kita lihat yang
There
kita
are no
lepas beberapa
pests or any
hari
other
lalu.
diseases on the
Pas
seaweed.
umur
There has been
15
no
hari,
rain for a
sekarang
few
sudah
days, which is very good.
beberapa hari
Mr.
yang lalu.
Junaidi says if
Jadi,
there's any rain, it will promote moss
perbedaannya
growth
itu
and can harm the seaweed.
sangat
And when it comes
menakjubkan.
time to harvest, the
Waktu
growth of the
kita
seaweed
lepas,
will fail.
rumput laut
In
ini
fact,
mempunyai
most of the
talus
work that has to be done
2
in taking
sampai
care of
3
the seaweed is controlling the
Setelah
growth of
beberapa hari,
moss.
kita
If there is moss growing in the pond,
kontrol
the
kembali,
cultivator will have
ternyata
to get rid of it
setelah banyak
manually.
perubahan, dia mempunyai talus 5 sampai 10 cm. Ini menurut saya sangat mengembirakan. Kita tinggal kontrol lagi nanti beberapa hari kemudian, sekitar 20 hari sampai 1 bulan lah kita kontrol lagi. Kemudian kita akan panen.
Two days later, on the 7th day, they need to spread off the fertilizer to help promote the growth of the seaweed. Usually they will use TSP fertilizer or NPK. This time they're using NPK fertilizer. They will need 5 to 10 kilograms of fertilizer for 1 hectare. It will depend on the fertility of the water. Mr. Junaidi and his crew have chosen a very good and healthy location for the seaweed, so the pond does not require much fertilizer. The cultivating will be done in 45 days, after which the cultivator can harvest the results. If it is harvested before this exact time, then the quality of the product, as well as its yield, will be poor. To get the best quality and quantity, the seaweed needs good treatment. Drying the crop on the coastal sands is forbidden. The seaweed must be hanged or spread on racks. They call it para. It is usually installed on the outskirts of the pond. The ratio of wet seaweed yield and dried is 10:1. This means for every 1,000 kilograms of wet seaweed, just 100 kilograms of dried seaweed will be obtained. After they dry the seaweed, the moisture content is approximately 10%. This means it is ready to be packed. They use plastic sacks that will be 50 kilograms once packed. Now they have to bring the dried and packed seaweed to the warehouse. The purpose of this step is to maintain the quality of the seaweed. One of the most important things that need to be considered is that the warehouse must be very dry. We don't know what will be lost or left in our lifetime, including the natural resources of Indonesia. Because of its natural characteristics, seaweed can help improve the environment and increase productivity, especially in sandy areas. Therefore, the growth and cultivation of seaweed will help increase the conservation of our natural resources.